Dixie Carter finally gave a talk to the company about the rumors of closing up.
We're not closing up, I swear.
She denied, again, she's a prospector now, I don't understand this. She denied things were bad, but didn't address any specific points that have been brought up, other than claiming they were in it for the long haul and the financial situation isn't looking bad. She said a toy deal was imminent, which is the Toy Biz deal, the Marvel toys. That TV sponsorship money would be coming in, that's probably not really the case, and that the TV time slot would be upgraded, which did happen. I was told she did a good job, Dave here. Is the I was told.
No, it's you. We should start doing research into 2004 backstage stuff so we can get our own scoops.
Yeah, Disco Inferno sent me a DM. I was told she did a good job, and it was something that she needed to be said. But morale coming out of the week wasn't strong regarding the future, particularly since they have 2 weeks of TV in the can and had no idea what the main event for the next pay-per-view was while filming. Well, get over it. Randy Savage walked out.
You know what?
And Sting said no.
I'm curious if I am the company defender now. Anything happens, I'm like, here, let me talk my way out of this one. I'm curious if the people going, the morale isn't strong, is like, if it's just like Kid Cash talking to Dave, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If it's just people who are already disgruntled in their positions and like 70 to 80% of like the locker room is like, everything's kind of okay at the moment. You know what I mean? Because if something's going all right, you're not going to contact Dave and go, everything's going all right now. But if you personally have a gripe with the company, you're going to be like, it's fucking terrible here. And you're going to go make a mess of it. You know what I mean? So unless like, I'm not saying that I don't think there's a bunch of people who are loving it at the moment, but because like that would have gotten reported, I feel. But I'm sure like most of it, like 70 to 80% of it, of the locker room is just like kind of indifferent to things right now.
Yeah, there might be like some anxiety about whether or not the company will be around, and that's like natural anxiety about your job and career.
But like, isn't that also just like any startup that's like only like a few years into their run? Like, I don't know.
And to be fair, when you watch the shows, it does not look like a group of people who don't care and aren't trying. It looks like, frankly, quite the opposite.
That was going to be my exact point. When AMW go out there after signing like their brand new deals, do they look like they're fucking shaking in their boots about everything? Like, maybe it's just people who like right now might consider themselves on the chopping block because they're either like not in positions that they feel like want to be, or like they're not in feuds that are necessarily going anywhere, or like not in feuds, and they're just people who are genuinely or generally disgruntled in the company and has like nothing to do with the current situation, because I don't see how this situation right now is any worse than the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, why is now so specifically a morale low point when there's been 4 years of this basically at the same level? Like, I'm sure there's like you said, there is a general level of it, of like worrying about your job and your money and whatever, but I don't see how this is any worse than it has been, and we've been reading every backstage note for the past 4 years, so.
Yeah, and it's funny, that note came from Dave, and there is a note in the PW Torch as well. Overall, morale is said to be up in TNA right now, with wrestlers happy with Dusty Rhodes' management style compared to Jeff Jarrett. Dusty, without the burden of having to run the business side like Jarrett did, is able to concentrate just on booking. As a result, he is accessible and friendly with wrestlers more so than Jarrett. Jarrett, on the other hand, always seemed to be in too much of a hurry to spend time with anybody, but the top stars he favored. Sources say Jarrett,
a real elite of this guy.
Jarrett said, sources say that Jarrett is more relaxed these days too, without the booking burden. So like there is literally this month a contrasting viewpoint about the degree to which morale is down.
Which kind of just proves my point, like a Kid Cash type is talking to Dave and an AMW type is talking to the PWI.
Yeah.
PWT. But hey, I don't know, it just seems... like Dave's thing, and I think Dave does this a lot, where he hears from like one or two people and then equates it to the whole locker room. When like you're getting a very specific set of opinions from people in a business that is very egocentric, and if it isn't going right for me, it isn't going right for everyone.
During that Dixie Carter meeting, she said that the company learned that the monthly pay-per-views blew away the money they were making while running the weekly pay-per-views. The word floating around the office is that they felt they only needed 17,000 buys for the pay-per-view to be profitable. That's not to cover the entire cost of the company. That is just to cover the cost of that pay-per-view specifically. They'd need about 50,000 pay-per-view buys to be a profitable company.
Who do you think's doing more pay-per-view buys? Ring of Honor 2022 or TNA 2005?
TNA 05.
Hell yeah.
Just
Eat
about.
shit. Tony.
Most of the TNA 05 pay-per-views have done between 25 and 35. Ring of Honor was a 22, 25, and then it was Death Before Dishonor, whatever the middle one did do better. I think it was like 38. But on average, TNA is pulling slightly higher numbers.
Shoutouts to my guy on Twitter who was like, with Jericho Claudio, I was expecting 100,000 pay-per-view buys.
And they got 25.
Like, I was expecting like triple what they've been doing. I was expecting comparable AEW numbers.
Oh dear. People and their very bad takes and not being smart.
I don't even know if it's takes, because I don't think it's opinion as much as it's just chucking shit out online for like reactions. Even if it's not like something you don't necessarily like. I don't think it's people like, I don't believe in this thing, blah, blah, but I think it's just like, what's a thing I can say?
I don't understand people who thrive on that kind of engagement.
Well, I think it's people who aren't very creative.
I get 3 people being annoying in my mentions, and I'm like, I'm muting this tweet forever, I'm going to lose my mind. It's like, It takes like 3 people to do that to me. How do people actively seek out that kind of engagement?
Well, I don't think they're very like, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I don't think they're very inspired about actual wrestling analysis.
Whereas I am the deepest, smartest wrestling analyzer.
Except, like, it's crazy because you're so wrong about so many things.
But it's thoughtfully wrong.
As one Chris Jericho said, fuck you, Garrett.
Hey, attacking me. How dare he?
No, I was just quoting the man who drew 25,000 at Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Don't leave that one in.
No, that's staying in, pal.
No, I didn't mean it. It was purely comedy. It's like Rich said, this isn't a historical podcast. This is a comedy podcast.
I hope Chris Jericho blocks you too. That was the funny thing that happened. I woke up and a bunch of people were like, oh, your mentions must be fire. I'm like, why? Because Chris Jericho blocked me after he said that tweet, so I didn't even see the notification for it. So I was like, what? Why are people freaking out?
First of all, I want to say I love Chris Jericho. I think you've been on a incredible run this year. I think this
I said nice things about Jericho that night too. I literally said it's like his best career year.
Please don't speak over me. I'm trying to talk to Chris right now, who's listening. I think that you've had an incredible run this year. I think that this has been one of the best years in your entire career. And I also want to say that Garrett is a bitch, and you're right to do what you did.
You did quote tweet him and back him up, which upset me.
I mean, like, what was my quote tweet not the truth?
You have been saying that for years.
It's true. I was simply saying a truth. I had a question. Do you think Chris Jericho like took the time to like know like who you were? Do you think he was like, I'm gonna click the account and see how many follows and what it says on this, or do you think he was like, this is just some dork?
No, he vanity searched to get all the back pats because he quote unquote put a guy over in a match that was all about him. It was a great match, to be fair, though.
Look at you. You're like, please don't be mean to me, Chris. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm fair and unbiased. I would say the match is great. The match was all about Chris Jericho. It wasn't about Action Andretti. Come on. But he wanted...
It was Chris Jericho because he wanted to do his 1, 2, 3 kid moment. I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
but if it helps the guy, it helps the guy. But it was about Chris. It was a Chris Jericho thing.
Yeah, he wanted all the back pats, so he searched his name, and then he found a tweet that clearly he saw an amount of truth in that made him mad, and then lashed out at what I assume is a stranger. I don't think Chris Jericho knows remotely who I am, so not that I even think Chris Jericho should know remotely who I am.
But you don't think he clicked on the account? You know, saw the followers, was like, oh, this is a man of the community, this is a wrestling journalist adjacent fella? Or do you think he was just like, this is Joe Smo who's tweeting?
No, he just saw the tweet when he was vanity searching.
Do you think he saw the likes?
It got a lot more likes after he's quote tweeted it. But that actually, legit, that was my favorite thing. If you go look at the mentions of that tweet, at least like 70% of them are actually like, he has a point. And then there's a couple of people who are in there who's like, oh, Chris, this guy's an idiot.
Go off, King.
And then like a couple of those people get ratioed by people saying no, he has a point. So fuck you, Chris.
Whoa! Like I said, you've been on a tremendous run this year. The Moxley match was incredible. That's all I got to say. Remember when he wrestled Bandito?
That was a good match.
That was a very good match.